Instead of fireworks, try out levitation arrows for your elytra. And here's how to make invisible armor in vanilla Minecraft. And these are 201 Minecraft facts that you maybe missed. According to the YouTube overlords, the fastest anyone's ever subscribed to the channel is 1.5 seconds. So if you want to beat that, let's put 1.5 seconds on the clock and start the timer now. And hey, even if you subscribed after the buzzer, it means a ton, and enjoy the video. Do not underestimate tipped arrows, because silly as it may seem, we only need to shoot ourselves with one of these to go sky high. As this user shows off, if we were to give ourselves the slow falling potion effect and then use a Riptide Trident, then we'll be able to keep that same speed going right up in a 45-degree angle. And from there, forget about using rockets for your elytra, we're already well into takeoff. And as pointed out in this comment, the reason that we use arrows in the first place is that the 11-second duration of the effect makes sure that it's only going to be active on the way up, because otherwise we'd just be kind of slow falling through the air with our elytra, which is a little disappointing when you get that much speed on the way up. Here's how to make your dripstone even deadlier. use a fishing rod. Silly as that might sound, as this user shows us, it's entirely possible. If you find yourself in a situation like this, place the dripstone underneath the block, and then when you break its support block, you can catch onto the dripstone as an entity with your bobber, and use that to throw towards your enemies. How to moonwalk in Minecraft. All we need is an elytra. First off, we're gonna fly down to the ocean, and then hold up the spacebar so that we push ourselves back up to the top of the water. And then from there, we can just start walking backwards, which is a fun sight for sure, but remember, this will use up some of your elytra durability, proving that even the best dance moves have their expiration date at some point. Even though you can't see it, I'm wearing a full set of armor right now, and the way that's possible is that we're able to change our attributes through this command. So sure enough, we can give ourselves a full suit of netherite armor that no one's able to see, which in the space screen got on double light. And then from there, even though you can't see it, I'm wearing a full set of armor right now, and the way that's possible like it's in trouble, but don't worry, since the truth is that goats are fully capable of doing parkour, and all of a sudden this lava pit doesn't feel as inhumane. Never take fall damage again using this one trick, since if we were to follow in the footsteps of this example, you'll notice that if you hit the crouch button right before you hit the ground, then there's a glitch in 1.19.2 that'll negate all fall damage that you would have taken. Now, timing this might be a little difficult, but if you're able to pull it off, it's quite the clutch to have in your arsenal. Iron Golems does it take to beat a Warden? Well, if we set up our arena like so, we'll be able to find out that even though it's a close battle, the number is 8 Iron Golems to defeat 1 Warden. We'll only have one iron golem left, so that's expensive way to get rid of the warden. But if you have the ingots necessary to build up 32 iron blocks worth of iron golems, I guess that's one way to make your ancient city safer. This anvil will never hurt me, because even though you do take a lot of damage from a fallen anvil, if an anvil were to pass you by, you don't take any damage, which gives for the ridiculous sight that you see in this example. Here we are in survival mode, and no damage is taken from the anvil. Which I guess makes sense, it's still treated like a falling sand entity when it's moving this way, but something about seeing 31 ingots of iron just passes by unscathed, I think it's a sight worth trying for yourself. Although chests aren't currently a full block, in the old versions, they sure behave like them. And that'd be why we were able to place things like torches, rails, and even ladders on top of our While I understand why some of this got patched out, it is unfortunate that we can't run our machinery over top of these. That might have made for some cool compact designs. And while you can pull these off nowadays by using update suppression, let's be honest, that just isn't the same. If we were to apply a name tag to this mob and then kill the bigger slime, did you know that even all the small slimes that come from it will still keep their name tag? surely means that just from one size 8 slime, we can get a whole bunch of duplicates running around. Which is good to know that if you feel bad killing one Lola, at least there's gonna be a lot more to take her place. Lily pads don't just have to be placed on water sources. They also work on waterlogged blocks, meaning that with this setup, we can place our lily pads directly onto our drip leaves, which offers a nice decoration to add to your next pond. And it also gives us a way to stand on top of the drip leaf without it falling down, both of which are nice to see. If you take a close look at your netherite tools, you'll notice that they're different from your regular tools in more ways than one, since that netherite ingot that we added in the smithing table also seems to handle on the sprite, giving us the only tools in the game that don't have a stick for their handle, which I think makes sense. It explains how we reinforce all of the tools' durability instead of just the top for the pickaxe. If you were to put a sapling right up next to build height and then bone meal it, it will grow, but exactly one log. Meaning that even the rules of nature have to follow zoning permits. And honestly, I just think this is a really funny sight to see. And it makes me thankful that Skyblock is actually built at the bottom of the world and not up next to the build limit. Otherwise, that new tree would be a lot more disappointing. If you get a stray underwater, they'll no longer shoot you, which sounds cool, but you'll still want to stay away, since instead, they'll use melee attacks that'll inflict you with slowness. arrows. And honestly, that makes sense. Arrows do not go very far in the water anyway, so I'd get why they want to put them aside and instead just attack you like this. It's a tale as old as the 1.3 update. When you enter a desert temple, you've got to disable that stone pressure plate, and failure to do so could easily be the end of your run. But even knowing that plan, mistakes can happen. So whether it was you, a friend, or maybe the rabbit that triggered the plate, the fact still stands that we need to fix this, and fast. And to do that, there's actually a simple solution. As you'll notice, by breaking the pressure pad and the block that it's on, we can fill that space with a water bucket to flood the explosion chamber. And from there, the TNT detonates, but it doesn't delete the blocks or cause up here, letting us still claim those treasure chests all the same. Elytras are a great asset to have, but having to beat the dragon before you get one could be something of a hassle. So if you found the end portal and want to jump to the good stuff, all you need is a piston to make it work. As Mr. Cat shows, pushing yourself with a piston underneath the portal is enough to teleport. coordinates in the end. So if you got a slow falling potion and a handful of ender pearls, we can quite literally find the end city loot before even attempting the dragon fight. When you think of space travel, you're probably picturing something like this, but it turns out a boat can work just as well. Let me explain. See, on Bedrock, if you were to put a boat on top of a pad of slime blocks, bounce on top of it a couple of times, and then get in, then we can ride that sucker sky high. And if you ask me, that's definitely the weirdest and the traditional elevator or ladder, then this will definitely offer some new leverage. If you've played around with name tags, you're probably well aware of the different Easter eggs certain names have. And while people will try to get you to believe that the Jeb name tag does more than it does, there is more that we could do using the dinner tag. See, the game is coded in such a way where even players will turn upside down when given these names, which means Dinnerbone's account is also shown to be upside down. But in Bedrock, we can experience that ourselves. If not signed in, change your name to Dinnerbone or Grum, and you'll be upside down just the same as they are. Over the years, Minecraft has slowly added in new ways for world generation. And while most of us have messed around on a super flat or amplified world, have you ever seen one like this? This here is called the debug world, and it's a holdover from the game's development process. But you can't access it normally. To get this, you actually have to hold the shift key while you're scrolling through the world options. And then bam, it's there. And honestly, there's not much to do here since you're only stuck to spectator mode, but if you wanted to feel like a Mojang developer, or at least show off a special world to your friends, this is a pretty good candidate. Minecraft has plenty of care put into its animations, but if you blink, you might not always appreciate them. That is, until you use this command. See, in Bedrock, it's actually possible to use the play animation command to apply different animations to the various mob models. Meaning, not only can we make a animation command to apply different animations to the various mob models. Meaning, not only can we make a piglin dance, but we can do the same to ourselves. Fantastic enchantment, and it's definitely appreciate Minecraft's vast animation library. This might be the perfect tool for your future dance party. Riptide is a fantastic enchantment, and it's definitely a powerful one when mixed with a rainstorm. But even though it's great, it still has a few quirks I can't quite make sense of. For example, if we do a side-by-side comparison of using Riptide in a shallow pool versus something with a bit more depth, the difference is night and day. And for some reason, the shallow option will always win out against the competition. And while I can't quite figure out why this could be, it does allow us to get some newfound height and distance with our trident. So next time you're looking for a boost, maybe use your water bucket instead of visiting the ocean. Villagers are not the easiest mobs to work with, and a big part of that is the fact that they can't be relocated using leads or food. So usually we just use a boat as our best option. But thankfully there are other methods of persuasion, like talking. No joke, just interacting. Villager and sparking up a conversation is enough for them to relocate closer to you. And folks, for minor movements and adjustments, that might be all you need. So if you're tired of building a minecart system just to move one fish, solid alternative. And it's definitely cheaper, so that's a plus in its own right. Baby zombies are pests, to say the least. They've got a small hitbox, they're wicked fast, and good luck even trying to fight one of these with grass nearby. So to stay away from these ankle biters, maybe your new solution should be to try and grab a strider instead. Because, as you can see, these mobs are fully capable of walking on top of the other. Outside of lava isn't the fastest, but even then, they completely negate the baby's speed, which gives us a much needed way out of Dodge, and one that I'm happy to take at whatever pace they're willing to give me. Easter eggs are almost a rite of passage when you're developing a game, but after they're in, you have to wonder how many players will discover them, if at all. Take the Desert Temple for example. While most of us are focused on the treasure and TNT that lies underneath, there's actually more than meets the eye to the top. You see, this big hollowed out spot in the roof is actually the perfect size for a fully powered beacon. puts the eye to the top. You see, this big hollowed out spot in the roof is actually the perfect size for a fully powered beacon setup. Still don't believe me? Well, lay out the blocks as you would anywhere else, and sure enough, there's even going to be a sky roof up, which I gotta say is pretty nifty. Getting the Sniper Duel achievement is no easy task, but that's nothing Redstone can't help. And here, instead of shooting at the skeleton head on, we shoot at a target block placed directly above him, and then we rig a sticky piston and pull it away on command, meaning that after we walk 50 blocks away, we can flip the